came out with the A&F sticker. I remember I was a regional manager working with farm families across the state, and the Ohio State game when we all found out about the A&F sticker on the helmet, because Hayden cared enough not only about what football was about, he cared about the state of Iowa. Him being from a farm back in Texas, farm kids playing for him, Hap Peterson is one, and Haight on the line, both farm kids. He understood what farm families were going through and what rural Iowa towns was happening. So now you fast forward it to today. Coach Ferentz several years ago put the sticker back on the helmet. We kind of revitalized the A&F, and since then have started the Wall of Honor, and I've been very fortunate to be here for every one of them from Casey Wigman on. But the character today, he is something else. He was just not a football player in the NFL or a tight end for the Iowa Hawkeyes and all Big Ten. He's a great man of great character. And I can say that because I personally know him. Whether he's raising money for college or for college scholarships back in his hometown of Livermore, or whether he's putting on the back porch concert and having, if anybody was here, they'll tell you one of the greatest times. The guy is heavily involved in Iowa, and he represents what the Hall of Honor represents in terms of character, perseverance, hard work, and a great, great human being. So with that, I'd like to introduce the next person to accept the honor on the Wall of Honor is no other than the great Dallas Clark.
Thanks, Denny. Thanks, Denny. I got to say a few things before I forget about Denny and the Iowa Farm Bureau. I just want to thank them for choosing me, obviously. But this award is, this award is great, but it's what's happened prior to this, and their support of my foundation back home. A lot of you might not know, but I have a foundation back home that I started back in '07. And just about 5 years ago, I got introduced to Denny and Iowa Farm Bureau, and they have been supporters of me and my foundation ever since. And so it's those little things that you never hear about, that kind of go behind the scenes but are truly making a difference. And it's companies and organizations like the Farm Bureau of Iowa that support different things. Some things get obviously media recognized, and a lot of them don't. And so there's a lot of great work that the Iowa Farm Bureau is doing in the state of Iowa and obviously across the country and the world with the egg world. Iowa athletics, obviously, very. This is home. This is. I love. If you want me like pick up groceries or something, just give me any reason to come back to Iowa City. I'll come back. And like Coach Ferentz alluded to earlier, that I think I haven't worn out my welcome, but I am I'm familiar with the players and the coaches and this place, and it's dear to my heart. And so you combine what Farm Bureau is doing, you combine the Hawkeye family, and I can't be more honored to be recognized by those two organizations, and then you go step back further to what A&F stands for, and what that logo and like Denny talked to when I was 6 years old when Coach Fried put that logo on. What I love about it is looking back at the impact that obviously I didn't experience and didn't really know what was going on. I never heard of it until I probably got to school here. But what I love about it is in that moment of dire straits of family farming, the crisis of farming in the 80s, and just everything going upside down, Coach Fry, who just like all the other coaches is busting their butt, studying film, worrying about winning a game against Ohio State, highly ranked Ohio State team, and thought it was more important or important enough to take time from the rigorous schedule of preparing for a very good team to make an impact, to do something to draw attention to the crisis, to the need that was obviously in place. And I love that he didn't do it because he thought 30 years down the road we were going to be standing here giving out awards, giving out recognitions, having a wall, recognizing former players and all that. He did it because there was a need, there was a problem with his stage and platform that he had. He was going to do something about it, and he acted upon it. And just a little sticker, it got people asking questions. It got people familiar with the situation that maybe aren't farmers or in the farming world, and really brought that attention with just a little sticker. And here we are 30 some years later talking about that little sticker. And what's the beautiful thing about this whole thing is that ANF stands something different for everyone, whether you are in a farming community, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a teacher, whatever profession, whether you're related, not related to farmers, or it's not in your blood, or it is, and that's all you know. Everyone has a story on why ANF is important, especially if you're from Iowa. I mean, I think it means something special to everyone differently. And so, again, very, very humbled and honored to be recognized by Iowa Farm Bureau and the ANF partnership, and then obviously Iowa Athletics and Iowa football. So this is it's going to be a great weekend, and excited to be a part of it.
You're the fifth member now of this fraternity, I guess it is. What was your thoughts when they approached you and said they were going to honor you like Casey and Jared? And
well, I'm very honored. I mean, especially with what's unique about my situation is that those guys are farmers, especially Bruce Nelson, who I'm really close friends with. He's actually my farm manager. And because that's what he did. I mean, that's what he does. And so as I've become a farmer, he's my guy that I ask questions, and the dumb questions that I probably should have known, since I was 5 if I grew up in a farming household. So what's unique about my situation is that I respect and appreciate everything that farmers do. I don't have those stories of, driving a tractor when I was 8 years old, before I was driving a car and all that stuff, driving grain carts and all that stuff. So I don't have those kind of cool stories, but what I have is respect and a passion for farming, and I've enjoyed getting into it. And what's awesome about it is that I got great farming friends that I can ask questions, and they're like, oh, it's like no big deal to them. It's like breathing. It's just, but to me, I'm like, just like, no, tell me more. Like, you don't understand. This is, to you, it's just, that's what you do. But to me, why do you do that? Why shouldn't we, why can't we wait 2 weeks, or why should we do it? Or, so it's just all that stuff that it's just reaction to them. Like, just in case if we were in the film room watching football, they would probably be the same way, or like, why'd you break that route? Or, so it's that same kind of intriguing dynamic of the culture of farming that really kind of drew me to it.
When you're back here, how involved are you with the players? And do you have a self boundary that you try to keep so you're not sticking your nose in too far or whatever?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, what's so funny about it is that you try, like, you feel like you can relate to these players, but I'm old. Like, like to them, like, they were born when I was almost playing. So it's like it's sad to admit that you're at that point, and so you're not that cool, and so as you think you are in your head, and it's just like, oh gosh, man, I don't talk, when you say Facebook, like Facebook is like, 10 years ago, like their parents use Facebook, like they use like Snapchat, all this other stuff that I have no idea, I don't do social media, so I don't know that world. So it's just a little, when you talk to them, but no, what I do is I love working out with them. I love trying to beat them, and Coach Doyle is fantastic. Let me, he always kind of, prefaces it with, "Are you sure?" Like, and then why? And then, and it's like, because I'm sick, I guess, in the head. I want to see if I can still keep up with these 19-year-olds, but no, it's one of those things where I love being around, and if I'm passing them in the hall, I always try to leave myself open. I'll always say hi. I'll always, ask them, how's school going? What's next for you? just try to be engaging, so then you kind of open that window of if they do need help, if they, hey, I got this problem with this, with this, especially with my position with tight ends. I'm always like, hey, my door is open. Like, if you have any questions about anything, let me know, because you just want to be a resource for them to help, because I had so many people that helped me get to this. It doesn't, you can't do it by yourself. And so if I can pass on any little piece of advice to help them to be successful and to help them figure things out, because it's so much harder to be an athlete these days than it was back then. So it's amazing how things change.
How common is that culture with other universities?
I don't know. I don't know what I think. Okay, I do know what the reason why it is what it is here, because Coach Ferentz was my coach, and there's not many places 18 years down the road, after like that, your coach is still in the coach. And so that's why when I come here, it still feels like obviously brand new, gorgeous building, but it's it's the familiar faces, it's the people that helped me become the player that I was. And so it's that comfort level. It's that, if there's a new coach in there, a lot of coaches have different different agendas and different things, how they want to approach the past players and all that stuff. And so it's still very easy for me to come in here, go work out, hang out with the guys, be available, be accessible. And so in other places, they've gone through about 4 coaches by now, so it's that's the beauty of this university and the coaching staff here. It's still my coach.
Dallas, can you talk about how I think you had an injury from baseball when you got here, and Hayden just kind of found you, or I don't know who exactly found you and brought you here. I think you came in as a gray shirt with kind of a promise to have a scholarship in the January, and I know you mowed Kinnick for a while before you were a scholarship guy.
Yeah.
Can you kind of talk about those early days and those very first?
Well, I'm still working on the book. No, I'm joking. No, it's I can't. Okay, yeah. So I'll very brief, but there's so many side stories. But yeah, my freshman or my senior year in high school, June 13th, day after my birthday, collided with my second baseman going for a ground ball, broke my collarbone. He weighs about 120, dripping wet, and I'm stature of a man, 200, and I break my collarbone. It's like, what the heck, are you kidding me? And but by that time, I sent out, my brother he was a linebacker at Iowa State, and he didn't have a very good senior year. Coaches kind of jerked him around and things like that, and it was one of those things like, all right, I don't really want to go there, but I wasn't getting looked at anyone. You got to understand, 1A, so my oldest brother Dan and I, we made a highlight tape, and sent it to all the Division I schools, Colorado, Nebraska, Iowa, Wisconsin. I wanted to go to Division I. I saw my brother play there, and I wanted to. He did JUCO first, but I was like, okay, if I can get into Division I program, maybe by my senior year I'll be on special teams and I'll get a letterman's jacket. That was my only goal. I want to get a letterman's jacket, special teams. I'm happy. All right, So sent out all those tapes and VHSs, by the way, and so I was the only one. Mark Henderson came up to a practice of mine, which was like the coolest day ever, and it was like, holy crap, University of Iowa football coach is coming to watch me play basketball, and it was like, yeah, it was, so they invited me to walk on, and then when I broke my collarbone, it was kind of like that bad news. I called Coach Bielema, and because I was a linebacker and still am. But he had. I was like, hey, bad news. I hope this doesn't change anything. But then that's where they brought up the idea of gray shirting. So I took 9 hours, and that unfortunately was Coach Fry's last year. And so a little drama when that fall goes on, and then Coach Fry's and his staff leave. I'm coming over. over there, like, do any of these people know me? Like I swear, I promise, they invited me to walk on, and so it was just kind of, luckily, thankfully, Coach Elliott and Coach, Coach Elliott with his cancer, he's still kind of hanging around, and obviously Coach Bielema, they kind of signed off on me, and so that was kind of like, okay, good, I got a jersey, 119, I think was my number, and so that's kind of there's I could go on, but that was kind of there's a lot of more valleys in that story, but it was kind of, the good Lord knows what He's doing. It's things happen for a reason, and so if I didn't break my collarbone, I'd probably gutted it out as a linebacker and been third string the rest of my life, but I would have been a heck of a special teams player. That's what I came to do. So.